This is what happens when you have protected foam. Chemicals come in, this is a powder.
Can you guys find a cure for coronavirus?
They have so many different products, people just combine them.
Do you have estimate of how many ducks was hurt?
I always start tours at picture of Harry Conklin. There's Harry Conklin, founder of Conklin Company. Harry was a civil engineer. In his garage, manufactured lubricants for the automobile industry. So that's how it all started. As of right now, roofing is about 65% of the business, and agriculture is about 25% of the business. And that last 10% is everything else. These are raw materials, mostly. This is actually material with actually the fire retardant in our coatings. Our coatings are UL.
So you produce coatings in this factory?
We produce all our liquids in this factory.
Okay.
So,
is there something making right now?
Yeah.
Can we see it?
This is what's used as fabric reinforcement on our roofing. So what you do is you have a metal roof, and metal roof has all kinds of seams. And you go and you lay the coating down, and then you roll the fabric into it, and then put more coating over the top, and you get a watertight seal on that stretches with the roof. So ideally, what is the roof for? To prevent leaks. You don't want stuff inside to get wet. So on metal roofing, this is what takes care of it. This is 2.5-inch Splenflex 2.
What are bigger rolls for?
A complete fabric system. So we do have systems where you go and you apply resin to the whole surface, and then
like
you put that over, and then you roll that into it.
So you spray it first, you do the fabric, and then spray it again.
You know how like a single has a scrim inside of it? This is kind of the scrim inside of. So like they manufacture that at a factory. They put liquid down, they lay the scrim in there, then they put more liquid.
Is it going to be, so what kind of spray system you put? Is it similar to TPO then?
At the end, it has about the same mil thickness, but it's going to be bonded to itself a lot better. There's no heat welding. Like TPO is heat welded to each other, where this is manufactured with
on the roof.
Just liquid resin, and it bonds.
But materials are similar to TPO, or
no?
No. It would be a total different raw material.
This is the hail strikes on unprotected foam. All right, and this is what happens when you have protected foam. And that's probably benchmark on there is my guess. But as you can see, it dents it, but it doesn't crack. So it displaces that hit.
Is it certified? What kind of certification does it have? Is it class 4? Is it HAG? What does HAG say about this, like third-party testing?
Third-party testing, we have UL on our Puma product, and our benchmark product, we have UL Hail 4. And we have FM hail rating also. So these are actually certified by third-party testing.
So this is just the foam insulation,
Foam
right?
insulation by itself.
Okay. It's very impressive.
And so what this machine does is it measures how much strength it takes to pull it, and also how much does it stretch. So these are adhesion tests. And we'll do 2 adhesion tests dry, and then there's 2 more on there. Then we'll soak them for a week and we'll pull adhesion again. This is the fertilizer stuff we're getting to here. So we manufacture starter fertilizer. Our record for one day, one guy, 2 tanks, 103,000 gallons. One guy manufactured, back and forth. 5,000 gallons a pop. You notice all the raw materials come in individual pipes in there. If you looked at that other tank, it actually all came down. Water, resin came down one pipe. Fertilizer is generates a lot of heat and energy, and if we were to just throw the raw materials in and not take the heat away, they'd actually just blow right out of the tank. Wouldn't explode like a bomb, but it would eject itself. It wouldn't be pretty. So they come in individually, they're mixed, and then they are drawn out during the mixing process, out through the bottom and through a heat exchanger, which removes the heat, and are pumped back in cold. And what that does is allows us to take that batch that had just so much heat to it and make it in about 40 minutes. What actually drove the business was a product called Wex. Wex was an agronomic product that wet out the surfaces. So if you sprayed something on the leaves, it would wet out the leaf and actually suck into the leaf through the stomas or the pores in the leaf, or it would also help push it through the roots. It was Conklin's kind of claim to fame. They would actually, you couldn't do this now, but they would have a tank and they would put a duck in it, and the duck would swim around, and then they'd put a couple of drops of Wex into the tank, and it would wet the duck's feathers out because the duck's swimming around, and the duck start sinking. And he'd sink and sink until the duck, basically his head was just sticking out, and then they grabbed him out. And the duck's trying to, get away, and it wasn't pretty.
Do you have estimate of how many ducks was hurt?
No, there were no ducks hurt in the making of this.
No ducks were hurt during the test.
No.
So you have Benchmark, Puma,
And Rapid Roof was first brought out, the first generation was 78. 77,
What's the difference
78.
between the three?
Different resin.
Different resin?
Different resin, different
Is
properties.
it good, better, best?
Yes, that's the way Conklin focuses.
The best one actually dries quicker, so from an applicator standpoint,
So, and that's Puma.
it'll cure out. Yeah, it'll cure out better.
Then there's Benchmark
And then Rapid Roof.
Rapid Roof is, so Rapid Roof is not that rapid.
Well,
Because
it was.
it's
It's not anymore, but in '78 it was. Chemicals. Chemicals come in. This is a powder. This is 626. I don't even know what that is. I think it's calcium carbonate. So anyway, comes in raw material. QA, the receiver receives it in, and then QA goes and takes a sample. Brings the sample up here, does testing on it. Is this what we expected it to be? If it is, good to go.
How often it doesn't match your quality standard?
Most of the time it matches, but not 100%. I would say 1 out of 100, 1 out of 200 maybe.
So you can ship it back?
Yep, and so what you
It's under-
say, we reject it and we say it's yours, take it back. We had an issue one time with a extremely virulent wild mold that would just grow like you wouldn't believe. And we actually had to tweak our preservative package to kill that mold, so the mold couldn't grow on it. It was a one-off deal. They had an issue, we fixed it.
Can you guys find a cure for coronavirus?
No.
Are you guys working on this?
Nope. This is a metal roof. This is what we would spray on bare metal, which metal is prepped, sprayed with encase, and then you put the Benchmark base coat on the seam, and then you put the Spunflex like we had shown before, right on that seam, because that seam goes right through here, so you can visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this forms your barrier for leakage, and then they top coat the end of this. So this shows each of the pieces of process. This is a sample of the Spunflex right here, and then these are caulked screw heads. So that's a metal system sample. We manufacture those. But what they do is they take the iso board, glue the iso board down, not glue the iso board, they fasten it with fasteners, and then fully adhere this down and weld the seams.
You can see the screws that's going into iso board, and then this is glued on.
Yep.
The skylights are all brand new. All the skylights up here.
Yeah.
Can you weld this?
Yeah,
this is welded.
That's all heat. All the seams are welded.
Seams
so
welded.
TPO and PVC are welded on the seams.
Yep.
And then EPDM is a glue. Yep. Out of the tape. Yep. Maybe like this might be like caulking, or it might be even a colored coating. Sometimes people get that for trim or like a wall. They'll just do like an accent color on a wall. But who knows what? Actually, that's fertilizer up there. So they have so many different products. People just combine them.
Unfortunately, that's it for this video. We cannot share any more private information because it gets very detailed and very personal for Conklin brand. If you want to learn how much money you can make and how much people make in installing Conklin system, check out our private Conklin Roofing Business School. We create an entire course with Warren for you so you can learn how to become a certified installer, what it takes, investment, and how much money you can be making for yourself. Check it out.